Hello, and welcome back to the Bloom and Beyond podcast. This episode is for the woman who thought menopause was behind her and then noticed something unexpected. Heat, flushing, nighttime warmth, or that sudden feeling that her body doesn't feel quite right again. If you're experiencing hot flashes after menopause, especially if you never had them before, I want you to know that this is real. This is more common than we're told, and this is something that we can support. We tend to talk about menopause as if it's a single event. Periods stop, hormones stabilize, symptoms fade, and we move on. But menopause isn't a finish line. It's a long-term physiological transition. The body continues adapting for years after the final menstrual period. Hormones remain low, but the systems that depend on them, the brain, nervous system, metabolism, and stress response, they're still adjusting. So when symptoms show up later, it doesn't mean that something went wrong. It means the body is continuing its work. Hot flashes are most common during perimenopause, but they're not limited to that window. Some women move through the transition with minimal symptoms. No hot flashes, no night sweats, and they assume that they've skipped that part entirely. That was my experience. Then years later, heat symptoms appear. That was also my experience. This can feel confusing, frustrating, or even alarming, especially when no one warned you that this was possible. But late-onset hot flashes after menopause are a documented experience, and they often reflect changes in regulation and not a return to hormonal chaos. One of the most important things to understand is this. Hot flashes are not caused simply by low estrogen. They're caused by how estrogen interacts with the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that regulates the body temperature. After menopause, estrogen levels are lower and more stable, but the brain's temperature regulation system can become more sensitive over time. This narrows the body's thermoneutral zone, meaning small internal or external changes can trigger a heat response. So postmenopausal hot flashes are often about sensitivity and not deficiency. Late-onset hot flashes are very often nervous system driven. As we move deeper into midlife and postmenopause, the nervous system may become more reactive due to cumulative stressors, such as long-term emotional stress, caregiving demands, unresolved grief or loss, chronic sleep disruption, blood sugar instability, inflammation, and years of just pushing through. The body can compensate for a long time until it just can't do so anymore. And sometimes the symptoms that surface are heat. For many women, there isn't one clear trigger. Instead, there's a tipping point. Contributors can often include prolonged stress without adequate recovery, declining sleep quality over time, increased sensitivity to alcohol or caffeine, medication changes, stopping hormone therapy, weight or metabolic changes, and irregular meals or blood sugar swings. It's often the accumulation, not just a single event, that shifts how the body regulates itself. Late-onset hot flashes don't always match the classic description. Instead of sweating, you might experience internal heat without visible sweating, flushing in the face, neck, or chest, nighttime warmth that just disrupts your sleep, heat paired with anxiety or a racing heart, or a sudden sense of being unsettled or off. These are still vasomotor symptoms. They just present differently. Because late onset hot flashes are often rooted in regulation, The goal isn't to suppress symptoms, it's to support the systems involved. First, stabilize your blood sugar. Blood sugar swings are a major and often overlooked trigger for hot flashes. Helpful strategies to do this include eating regular meals. That includes protein, healthy fats, and fiber at each meal. Avoiding long-lasting windows or fasting windows if symptoms worsen. Limiting refined sugars and ultra-processed foods. And not skipping meals earlier in the day. Stable blood sugar supports both the nervous system and temperature regulation. The second is to support your sleep. Sleep disruption both contributes to and worsens hot flashes. Instead of forcing perfect sleep, focus on consistent sleep and wake times. Reducing evening alcohol. Limiting caffeine earlier in the day even. Dimming your lights. And creating a cooler sleep environment. Also addressing nighttime anxiety or racing thoughts. Even small improvements in sleep quality can reduce symptom intensity. The third is to reduce nervous system load. And this isn't about doing more, it's about doing less more intentionally. So helpful practices for this include gentle walking or restorative movement, breath work that slows your exhale, mindfulness or body-based calming practices, reducing your overcommitments, and allowing true rest without productivity attached. The nervous system needs signals of safety to regulate temperature effectively. Fourth, be mindful of the triggers. Common triggers include alcohol, especially in the evening, caffeine, spicy foods, hot environments, and stress-heavy days without recovery. This isn't about restriction, it's about awareness. Fifth, consider hormone-informed support. So some women may benefit from hormone therapy, non-hormonal medical options, targeted supplements, and lifestyle interventions that support estrogen, metabolism, and stress hormones. This is highly individual and guidance matters, and this is when talking to your doctor is a must. So, just how long can late-onset hot flashes last? Well, research shows that hot flashes can last 7 to 10 years or longer, and for some women, they continue into their 60s and beyond. So if symptoms appear later, it doesn't mean that something new is wrong. It means that the body is still finding balance. If hot flashes show up later than expected, this isn't a failure of the body, and it doesn't mean that anything is wrong. It's communication. Your body is asking for steadier rhythms, deeper rest, less pressure, and more support than it needed before. Listening now can make a meaningful difference. So in closing, if this episode resonated with you, know that you're not alone and you're not broken. Late onset hot flashes after menopause are real, valid, and manageable when we approach them with understanding instead of frustration. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you found this episode helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast for more midlife support. I'll see you next time on the Bloom and Beyond podcast.